All right, everyone. Trump had a big town hall the other evening, and it was a pretty good one. People were rambling about, oh my God, Donald Trump talked about Mulvaney and stuff like that, and I thought that was funny. But, there are TDS sufferers out there. Even if they agree with Trump on an issue, they're not going to give him any credit. They'll make an excuse as to why he shouldn't get it. Debate me, bro. The big sum and substance of the night. That, and also the potential running mate shortlist, which actually we'll get into on the live stream later on. That's going to require a little bit more detail. The debate me bro line, though, is a good one. Donald Trump should habitually challenge Joe Biden to debate him. Because right now we have credible reasons to believe that Joe Biden's inner circle does not want him to make any public appearances. He's basically hiding Biden. Even more than in 2020 with lockdownerism, by the way. He's basically an absentee. I mean, because his polling is almost in lame duck territory, it makes sense. Joe Biden does not want to debate Donald Trump. Trump has an acerbic and very nonlinear debate fashion, which doesn't always serve him well. But Joe Biden has had 4 additional years to crepitate to the point where his mental cognitive functions are clearly diminished. And the people around him know this, like the White House cybersecurity chief who James O'Keefe managed to hoodwink with a pair of glasses and dyed hair. He openly stated that it was common knowledge in the White House that Joe Biden was not the man he used to be. He's got memory problems. The DOJ report claims the same thing. Obama's personal physician a few days ago confirmed the same thing. He worked with Joe Biden. He was there in the goddamn White House when Obama was in office. Joe was the VP at the time. He is acutely aware of the mental functions of this individual. He's all of these people. The DOJ, which is literally commanded by Biden, the White House physician who had no problem with Obama, has never expressed any dismay about he being his chief physician, etc., who worked directly with Joe Biden saying the same thing. And we can see it for ourselves in real time every time Joe Biden comes out in public. The man has mental difficulties. He's old, he's got dementia, he's got memory loss, his memory is slowly being fried out of his fucking skull. Why would you therefore want him to debate? Therefore, the best thing that Donald Trump can do is do the bravado thing. Whether or not Biden actually comes to the debate is an entirely separate issue, but you need to look like, hey, I want to debate the guy. I'll debate him right now. Fuck it. Call him up on the phone, get him on the show right now, have him come over on Marine One. I'll stay a few extra hours. We'll wait for him to arrive. We'll do an impromptu debate or something like that. The bravado is a good idea because there's a chance that Joe Biden declines. Trump has already expressed willingness to show up for general election debates. In fact, he appears to want to show up for more than just the normally scheduled ones. He's already shown the willingness. Joe Biden hasn't. So if he doesn't show up, that's going to be a little bit goddamn conspicuous, number one. And I guarantee the White House right now has multiple staffers working on excuses to the public should that need arise. Conversely, if he does show up, Biden loses because he's not going to perform well at a debate. Donald Trump is sane, non-linear, not the world's greatest public speaker, and sometimes when I watch his speeches or in the debates, I get mad because he becomes so non-linear that he goes from what he has a clear linguistic kill shot he could deliver, but then he bounces around it and he goes to an entirely different subject. This happened multiple times in both 2016 and in 2020, as well as some of the rallies that he's given. He's got a really great point that he could make. And I'm like, say the line, and he never does. And so he's not the greatest, admittedly, Donald Trump's not the greatest public debater. But Joe Biden's far worse. Because, if it were Senator Joe Biden in like 1985, probably he'd cream him. But this is not Senator Joe Biden. This is befuddled old man Biden. And also he just randomly gets aggressive. He does a squinty thing where he lowers his voice down really quiet and then he starts shouting. Which, by the way, if Donald Trump were to do things like that, it would literally be compared to Adolf Hitler, who did exactly the same thing. But Joe Biden can't pull it off. That's why the comparison's not made, because, at the very least, Hitler was a good public speaker. If there's one positive thing you can say, fucking Stalin was a pretty good public speaker, too. Actually, Mussolini, Tito. Well, Tito is pretty cool. He probably killed Stalin, so I'm sure that Pol Pot gave a few good public speeches as well. Mainly telling people, hey, I'm about to execute you. Bring out the pickaxes. But anyway, Getting beyond that, this is the debate me bro thing normally is cringe. Like when Nikki Haley does it, because it's like, okay, you're like 50 points down in most states right now. You just haven't realized that you've lost. And so it falls flat. But Donald Trump is viable. He's already the nominee, effectively. He's running ahead in virtually all of the polls, both nationally and in the competitive states, by a significant margin in a few of them, including Georgia and at times Michigan, actually. So it's credible. He's saying, debate me. Give the public their bread and circus spectacle. Let us ramble at each other for an hour and a half. Obviously going to talk over one another, which happened at their debates before and will happen again. What I'm interested in also is there going to be a vice presidential debate? Because again, we'll be talking about the VP shortlist in the live stream later. Donald Trump confirming that a number of people that were mentioned were indeed on his shortlist. Although, he never confirms those are the only names on it, so please keep that in mind. It was kind of off the cuff. Talking about Byron Donalds and Ron DeSantis and Kristi Noem and Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard getting applause when mentioned, by the way. I think that you should do some A/B testing. I think that you'll find that that's probably the person you want to go with, but I think he leans more towards Noem. Perfectly acceptable. I'm just saying Tulsi Gabbard would inject energy into the campaign to the levels not seen since 2016. It'd probably be a really positive thing. And you get a shit ton of crossover votes too in the process, including some that lean left. I think Donald, choose Tulsi. It's probably your best choice. Donald has had hiring problems in the past, so we'll see if he's reformed himself on that token. Biden doesn't want to debate. The people around him know that he's in cognitive decline. We had an admission by the White House cyber chief there to James O'Keefe, on camera, to that same effect. We've got a DOJ report saying the same thing. Everyone knows that Biden has cognitive issues. Even his own fans know it. They just won't admit to it when confronted. They'll deflect and say, well, Donald said this wrong. Donald Trump mixed up Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi or something stupid like that. Yeah, that's really comparable to Joe Biden talking to a drum of beer. Or being repeatedly incoherent or falling down. The other day he almost tripped again walking up the short stairs. Short bus Biden, that's basically him. I think that Donald Trump should hammer away at this, though, because the more he challenges Joe, the more pressure is on him to actually debate. Because then if Joe Biden says, well, I'm too busy, I can't do this debating thing, I'm too busy being president, that's not going to work. People, even the liberals are beginning to question it. Fucking Nate Silver the other day is like, well, he's run out of excuses. And did you see Nate Silver, once the liberal media darling, because he predicted Hillary Clinton would win in 2016, he's generally, if not a Democrat, he certainly leans left. As some quasi-academics do, and he's got a hit-or-miss record with regards to predictions, by the way. He says that Joe Biden really, really needs to get out more, make his message known, and convince people that he's cognitively sane, and be out there, because otherwise he's going to fucking lose. Liberals wouldn't accept the premise. They said, well, Nate Silver is turning into a Republican. Nate Silver is for Trump 24. I really believe that. Cognitive dissonance is sheer. But I'm hoping that there are debates. God damn, of course I'm going to stay up in order to live react to those. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Seeing Donald Trump with his completely non-linear speech style plus demented Joe Biden. Again, he's had 4 additional years to dement himself more. Can you imagine how goddamn funny it will be? Oh, it's going to be great. I'm going to have some fucking snacks and drinks and shit like that in the background too. I'm going to be hamming it out. It's going to be a great goddamn time. I will be so disappointed as both a content creator and an aficionado of political debate in general if they don't happen. If they shit can the debates, it's almost an unforgivable sin at that point, because it would be literally the greatest. Like, I'm amping myself up thinking about the basic premise and how fucking funny it would be. Especially after a lackluster primary, because Biden and Trump were effectively running opposed to begin with. That's about all. Peace out.